What is the most important characteristic of a racing car? There are a few moments in racing quite so evocative as a car flaring into life in the garage before a race. And if you've ever been around one, then you'll certainly know the adrenaline and the spine tingle that it can bring. So you can hopefully understand my concerns then when I tell you that that car sitting behind us right now is currently on. It's electric, deadly fast, but completely silent. So what we're going to try and find out today then is if taking away the sounds, the smells, and indeed the mechanical core of a racing car also takes away its soul, and if in this game of performance and tenths of seconds, that soul really matters. This is the R11E, and it's one of the most powerful and sophisticated all-electric racing cars in the world. It's been developed by a team of 30 students from the RMIT University, and ever since they built the world's first electric Formula SAE car, they've been pushing the limits of sustainable racing. The R11E is their third and fastest car yet, and today it's ours for testing. So Stuart, what have we got in terms of power here then?
Well, the power plant for this car is two brushless DC motors in the back.
Yep.
They produce about 300 newton meters of torque each, so about 600 newton meters of torque all up.
And what does the car weigh?
The car weighs about 250 kilo without a driver.
So 600 newton meters of torque through a car that's 250 kilograms.
Yeah, we have a bit of trouble getting power down to the ground.
What kind of 0 to 60 time can I expect?
At the moment about 6 seconds, but once we work out how to get the power down, it should come under 4 seconds easily.
Okay, so can you point out the componentry then and how the drivetrain's working?
Yep, so you can see these big battery pods on the side. Each one has half the battery, so about 20 lithium polymer cells. They come back to the two drives down here that you can't see, and then each drive powers each brushless DC motor, independent chain drive to the rear wheels.
Okay, so given the option, would you rather drive the petrol alternative or the electric racing cars?
The electric racing car, definitely. I'm an electrical engineer, so all this electrical stuff's just in my blood.
For 2014, Formula One is looking at electric-only drive through the pit lane and even an all-electric race start. As you would expect, many people have expressed concern that Formula One may lose the screaming engine notes that make it so exciting. This then is a viable test not just of this car, but of the broader future of racing.
Good. Okay, so to set off, I just accelerate. No clutch to engage. And there we go. Bit of a kick. Let's take it easy while I learn this track. Well, thank God they put these cones here. I wouldn't have a clue where I was going. Okay, braking. God, brakes are stiff pedal. Okay, let's build up some pace now then. Gun to throttle. Wow! Performance is fascinating. I'm told acceleration 0 to 60 is about 6 seconds, which isn't good, but it's the sensation of acceleration. It's the lack of sound. It's the single ratio gearbox, the linear, endless acceleration. It's the sensation of it more than the actual acceleration itself. There's a frustrating inconsistency between the weight of the steering and the weight of the throttle. The throttle needs to be heavier, because at the moment I'm working my ass off to turn it in, and then on the exit of the corner, a millimetre of slip will just unleash, 100 odd newton metre of torque. Liken the throttle to a torque dial. Full throttle, that's 600 newton metre, and you cannot put that much power through these tyres on this road, so you've got to be delicate. We end up finding a sweet spot about 3/4 down. That's just where the tyres grip at their best. I concern all along was that this would feel digital and electronic, but it does not. It feels so mechanical. It is so heavy and difficult to maneuver, and you can hear the chain and the electric motor whirring behind you. What I'm not too keen on though is this differential, or really the lack of differential. You see, because we've got two electric motors powering each wheel independently, there's no link between the rear wheels, so there's endless amounts of slip. You can forget about power oversteer. It really numbs the power delivery and the car's ability to pull itself out of a corner. It does help to turn in just slightly under brakes to get the front end to bite. How would I summarize this car then? Well, you can forget this notion that electric racing cars are boring and digitalized, because they're not. They are purely mechanical. The whirring of the electric motor behind me, the chain of the engine, the weight of the steering, and the incredible torque curve. It's a car that would take a long time to master. It's a car that no doubt takes a different approach to driving. This is a wonderful, wonderful racing car.
After a good hour behind the wheel, just like a big remote control car, the performance began to dissipate and fade away until the car could barely move at all.
That's flat out now. I'm running out of charge.
This is a car with 600 Newton meters of torque and the power to weight ratio of a Porsche Carrera Cup car. It's sharp, it's responsive, it's an incredibly emotive car to drive, but every word I said in the car could be heard clearly by the spectators around the track. If there's one thing that we need to know about the electric-powered racing car, it's that it in no way feels electronic or digital. It is intrinsically mechanical and delivers emotively on every single level, even on noise. It just demands a wholly different approach to driving it. So, does this mean the demise of the petrol-powered racing car? I'd say not, because at the core of racing really is excitement for the spectator, and you can't go past a screaming engine. But there are certainly good elements of the electric car that we can bring into racing. The delivery of the torque is mind-blowing, and it's without doubt one of the most sensational cars in the world. And do you want to know what the real killer is? That car is completely sustainable.